really good individually. He won that lane with very little intervention.
Yeah.
From Monki. So want to see more of that, especially in this group, and maybe Karis will start developing into the player that Team WWE believe he can be, as we're into the final draft of the night. A couple of junglers, a couple of mid laners, and that pesky Nico getting taken away.
Yeah, Vi Wukong, mainly those initiation tools in the jungle that you talked about earlier, Yanni, being banned away. So I wonder if WE, with that constriction, are going to maybe just try and snag up a jungler that is still available right here and now. Something like the Xin Zhao, obviously still available. But no, they're going to go for the AD carry position instead, give about the Yunara right away. And if I see a Corki counter to this champion, I'm going to cry.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little upset too. NIP will at the very least elect to pick up Azir and then pair it with a Lulu. So a good takeaway, but also going to be able to buff up Care as this game goes on, as they want some scaling for themselves.
There's that Xin Zhao that we talked about being hovered here by Monki, but I mean, I'm trying to think about better options, and I don't really think there are many of them. So I think that this Xin Zhao would be very wise for WE to just lock this one in straight away, unless they fear some global presence, and maybe then Nocturne would have a little bit of value. But they're just going to lock in Xin and then go straight for the Rakan, actually, which I think is really interesting. I actually was looking across, and I did see some Xayah games here from Assum, so maybe with the constricted champion pools, WE are anticipating that the Xayah Rakan might be an avenue that NIP attempt to go for. So kind of denying that as well, and giving you some more engage. So Monki and Karis going to be the main ways I think WE are looking to start up fight. Not to mention, both these champions very good at buying space for the Yunara to be a threat in the late game.
Well, looks like NIP are very content to take this one late with another scaler. Also have that ultimate to be able to get Azir into the fight a little bit more, and your jungler of choice. The only problem here for NIP is they haven't selected their jungler, you know, and what, 7 of the meta junglers are already gone. Poppy is going to be taken out here. Could be flexed that way, but it's typically a Hoya special. That would have been a very proficient pick into WE.
I mean, maybe you could go for something like the Pantheon. I think that that is definitely an option if Monki wants to do that. I think his most popular champion in 2025 was the Viego, and although it has dropped off in priority, we know that he is very proficient on that. So there are still comfort champions for Guwon if he wants to decide to go for those. I think that that is certainly an option. But yeah, I do think that a lot of the meta junglers have been kind of taken away here. The Ambessa going to be the final one, which serves as both a constriction for the top lane pool and the jungle pool, as Ambessa has been flexed around here in the LPL.
See the Scion getting hovered by the side of NIP. We'll see if they want to give it over to Hoya. I'm thinking of what NIP could take in the jungle, and you know, you've got a lot of good carry options, but typically you want the carry, you want your mid jungle duo to either be carry and enabler, right? So you already have the carry coming out of care. If you're going to go double carry for Guwon, I mean, there's a lot of work that you're going to have to put in to actually make that work. I'm
looking at this hover, and I'm really interested to see
if they lock this
in. It would be a very bold lock-in into a champion like Azir, who is known for his range. Going a melee champion into that is dangerous, as they're going to fake us out and instead go for the Rek'Sai. So Rek'Sai versus Sion. All right, I didn't feel like looking at the top laners anyway, Yanni, as this is the champion that I was going to shout out. Really like the Syndra lock-in here. Think that it has a lot of disengage and pillow.
Resident sleeper for that top lane, brother.
Yep.
Now, your points about the Syndra are very valid, and it gives them a little bit of element of pick, right?
Yeah.
You know, you have that coming out of the Xin at times. Obviously, Rakan can do both big team fights or pick comps. See if WE are able to make that happen. The final lock-in is going to be that Kiana. Not too surprised, but again, somebody has to be the facilitator for this team over on NIP, and it doesn't really look like they have.
Yeah, I mean, the fight starter is probably going to be Care and maybe trying to get Hoya around the map as much as possible. Obviously, whenever you have a champion like Sion, you do have the ability to, you know, have a cross-map threat. with that ultimate. So I do think that if they can leverage that and get pushing lane in top here, that'll put Hoya in a really good spot to impact the rest of the map. Because, I mean, I'm looking at across the board on the side of WE, and outside of the Yunara, like hitting 3 items and dealing that mixed damage with her passive, who is realistically killing this Scion? It's a very burst-heavy comp, and frankly, I don't feel like the damage profile of this team is suited to take down this Scion. So if we do see him get accelerated in this game, it could be a dangerous game for them to play. So I do want to keep that in the back of everyone's mind. Scion, if he pops off in this game, is going to be an absolute menace.
But late game WE can do it, right? You get the true damage on Syndra W. Fiend Hunter bolts for Yunara. Once you have 100% crit, will start doing true damage. You kind of want to get that late anyway with these champions, but even if you do, I just feel like NIP's team comp brings so much more to the table, Quax. We will see. So we're on Summoner's Rift for our final game of the night. Team WE and NIP, one more time.
Yep, one of these teams going to continue being undefeated. The other one going to be handed their first series loss of the season. Care already walking up is going to be right into melee range of Monki, and will take a little bit of damage. And these kinds of things where you take, you know, that damage, normally you'd be able to recall, go back to base. Now, though, you don't really have that luxury. The wave has already crashed, and Kair is starting the lane with half HP.
So much inherent risk now. Trying to get wards down or use your body for vision. It's not always going to work out. One player I really want to spotlight in this particular game is Yaoyao, and the reason being is that, you know, Yaoyao has had some gaudy stat lines so far in the year for WE, easy to do when you're winning. He's had some, you know, solid enough games, but I think today in particular, he has struggled a little bit in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Really need to see him do big things, this Rakan that he's been pretty good at from time to time. I'll need him to pull one out once more. We'll see if Team WE can have a decent early game as well. He's going to have a big hand in that.
And I think that Yaoyao really has to be the main initiator for this team, because I think Rakan, you know, is obviously a champion that is capable of doing both. I think your engage and your disengage are both equally as effective, being able to exfiltrate a fight as infiltrate a fight. But you look across at WE's comp, and, you know, you've got the tunnels, you've got the crescent guard, you've got the scatter the weak. There are so many tools inherently on the other members of WE that give them that extra little bit of safety that I don't think Yaoyao really needs to be concerned about saving his teammates. He needs to be concerned about starting up these fights and giving them good entrances to actually punish, as your junglers, for what feels like the billionth time, I think this is the 3rd game in a row where they just meet each other in the jungle at level 3.
Yeah, and NIP knew that was going to happen. Guwon's going to go over the wall, but a good follow here. Heal is out. Guwon getting knocked up. Monki has to flash over the wall.
Awesome.
Also going to follow, looking to finish him off, and it's Zhuo, the one who's getting first blood. Now About and Yaoyao have to fight hard. Good flash. Was there. About is going to be able to find one. He's going to look for a little bit more. Zhuo with a big glitter lance, but Guwon's still alive.
The barrier!
There. Zhuo
The
goes
barrier!
down.
Triumph!
Oh my goodness! They get it done! Team WE's bot lane comes up huge!
It's the barrier, it's the triumph. About just doesn't die. NIP die in their own jungle, and WE get a massive fight win to start off this game.
Quax, they pinged it out too. They didn't have the vision, but they knew that this was going to happen. Look at this replay. It's so patiently played by both sides.
And honestly, I gotta be a little bit of a stickler here. Why is Guwon constantly grabbing grass element? Grab the rock element, bro! It has an execute on it!
Throw another rock.
Please! Throw any rocks! He's throwing leaves at them! We need the rock element here! I mean, look at how low About gets. I genuinely want to know, am I a quack for saying that rock element might have had the opportunity to kill here? I think here,
right.
like, yes, I think rock would have killed. Legitimately, I do. But he goes for grass. It doesn't deal enough damage, and About manages to live.
I just don't know how. Like, I thought for sure About was dead to Guwon there. I really did. I was like, oh man, they're going to fight this 3v2, and it's going to be a 3-for-0 for NIP, but what a huge turnaround. This bot lane doing so much work, and now Guwon says, I'm coming to get my lick back as he heads over the wall.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like a desperate attempt. You have to try and rectify your error that you made, and now it's going to affect your bot lane. About is pushing up and doesn't have flash, though, so this is a good angle for them to punish it.
Oh yeah, and they're going to punish him for sure. Right over the wall, About has nowhere to go, and it's Guwon getting that kill.
Yup, good thing for Guwon in particular on this Qiyana, needing to start out with a bit of a gold lead, a bit of a tempo advantage. This is the thing that Qiyana is built around, and they will be able to accelerate him. But even though About does go down, still has a really large gold lead, especially for 5 minutes into the game, over Assum. And how fitting is it for About, a player that we have talked a lot about as like having an interesting story and being from Genji Academy, but so far, I think that Assum has kind of gotten the better of him. He had a really good performance in the early phases of game number 1, and then obviously it was the big pop-off factor on the Jinx in game number 2, so he needs a redemption game himself here as Guwon.
Well, when becomes lightning, and because of the scout of the week, Guwon had to take a step back. Who's going to get this kill? It's Monki, who picks that one up as Guwon now 1-2-1 has had a tough time in the early going.
Yeah, Guwon, I think, just trying to be as proactive as possible, but, you know, getting a little lost in the sauce there. Gets picked off for not really any discernible reason. And now Monki going to be able to go for a reset and match him in the item department. Guwon having that brutalizer does make him very dangerous. So if Monki is able to return to base and get like a tunneler, I think that he can meet this Qiyana on even ground. And yeah, he's going to grab up that item, be a lot more tanky, and this is just going to make it more difficult for Guwon to secure kills against the Xin Zhao in these skirmishes because of that extra HP he's getting.
One thing to note, speaking of some differences, while Monki is down in gold, the mid lane, Karis is up in gold. He's up big time in CS once again. He has caused some problems for Care early on. He's already got those upgraded boots, so he's going to be able to move around a little bit easier. And we talked about how the Syndra gives them a new element of pick potential. That's going to come up huge very soon. This dragon, remember, is up. Guwon looks like he's headed toward it here, at least the crab for now.
And I'm going to be annoying here and say I really don't like Karis going for the Ionian boots, because we talk about needing to be this magic damage source that is capable of taking down Hoya, and I feel like if you're not indexing into Pen, it's just going to make this Sion that much more of a threat. Obviously, Sion is only one cog in the machine, but if you're not able to kill this front line, it doesn't matter how far behind you put this back line. Eventually, they'll find a way to dish out enough damage to take you out. So, I'm a little bit, I'm being a bit annoying, just, you know, nitpicking builds here and there, but I do think it is important for looking at the mid to late game damage profile of this WE comp and their ability to take down the front line of NIP.
That's valid. Remember, you know, Syndra, a little bit more of a late game oriented champion ever since her changes some time ago. Now Yunara, of course, going to be big in the late game, but so are the side of NIP, the unkillable Hoya. We're expecting Karen Assum to make big plays. The teleport is coming in here. It's Assum is finding himself in a little bit of trouble. Drops that ultimate down. Going to get knocked up when it becomes lightning, but he flashes away. It was a Yaoyao spellbook teleport to get good summoners out of Assum.
Yeah, Assum forced to burn that flash makes him a really easy target for both Monki and Karis in any future fights or excursions that they decide to partake on that involve the Sivir. Doesn't look like this dragon is going to involve the Sivir. In fact, it doesn't look like this is going to involve NIP at all, as they are the ones actually conceding this objective, as now Assum is moving toward the top side of the map, but Hoya has yet to channel his reset, so this swap that NIP are going for is really delayed, because Hoya doesn't have teleport, so that just means, yeah, free plates going over to About and more acceleration being put into this Yunara for essentially free.
Yeah, no TP either means that you just lose all of that. Now we do see NIP going after the grubs here. Obviously going to be a very big pickup for a guy like Assum, who's a little bit shorter range, but any stray hit you're able to get on the turret, you're going to get a lot of value out of. And of course, Care in the side lane. You know, Azir with grubs, with Nashor's Tooth is very difficult to deal with as Hoya flashes away from the knockup.
Interesting. I feel like you are more than tanky enough to be able to take any of that damage. Plus, you have teleport. So, it's a bit of a perplexing decision from the NIP top laner, but still, I don't imagine there's going to be much consequence for it at the end of the day. What will have consequence, potentially, is Guwon looking for this late invade, even though he's not able to secure the blue, and even though he'll get out, this does mean that Monki just has a slight tempo advantage over the Qiyana at the moment. We need to change that as NIP, so they're going for a fight.
But here's Yaoyao over the top. He's got the quickness available. Guwon's knockup is there. Spring to say his talent finds two. But there's that charm, and they're going to try to focus out Zhuo. Unleashed power is not enough. Teleport in from Hoya. Trying to protect this team. He's going to drop his ultimate down, but not get anywhere. But they're going to serve up Yaoyao on a silver platter. Care using that ultimate well. So NIP gets one back.
Really good angle there from Care. They managed to get the one kill, and I feel like definitely, it felt like NIP were going into overdrive. Now Hoya, no flash. Okay, maybe it is relevant.
Okay, well, Hoya just goes down. Free money over to Karis. I'm sure he's happy with that, as Hoya will get a couple of hits in on some of these members. And Karis a little low on mana as he returns to this lane. That could be relevant. So he takes the crab away. I love that.
Yeah, so... You know, crabs save lives in the jungle. That's the philosophy we got to live by. But
especially in the LPL, they save lives when you take them away.
Yep, for sure. As NIP, though, I would still say are the main winners of that fight simply because they were able to get more gold onto Guwon. We're really just going to have to see how this Qiyana pans out. Obviously, there are a plethora of squishier targets onto WE. About and Karis are, at the moment, the main beneficiaries of gold on Team WE, and if the Qiyana can find angles onto them before they can really get started in these fights, that's the max amount of value I foresee for this Qiyana pick. But it feels really difficult because while she can one-shot you, Qiyana, especially in Season 16, it feels like can get one-shot very quickly as well. So positioning for Guwon is going to have to be something we really keep our eyes out for, and it'd be so funny if he goes for Malphite, where positioning is important, but is forgivable if you mess up, to Qiyana, where if you put one toe out of line, it's lights out.
And it's so important in this game in particular, right? Like, Karis already has, you know, some gold on him with a kill. About's got a couple kills, so Monki doesn't need to bridge as hard because they were able to kind of do so with that early jungle fight, but Guwon has to bridge very hard in this mid game, right? He's the guy with all the gold on his team. He has to be the one to make sure that Care and Assum are able to get to the late game stages to make sure NIP has a big fighting chance, because early on it's hard. And it looks like Care's going to be the one to set him up. Guwon gets that third kill. Looks like they're right on schedule, Quax.
I mean, Care has just been on it with the Shuriken shuffles this game. First, we saw the scoop near the blue side blue buff, and now it's a free kill for Guwon onto Karis. More gold for the Qiyana. Now, he might be looking for some more, but this is a Rek'Sai, so I don't know if it's going to be possible.
Oh, it looks like they are going to find him. He's going to use his ultimate, but he dies before it goes off. It's a fourth kill for Guwon. He's up 2,000 gold in the blink of an eye, Quax.
Yeah, that's absolutely gigantic. Now he'll be able to reset and get closer to that second item mark. In fact, he might actually hit it. I don't know when the last time he backed was, but he already has that Profane Hydra. If you're able to get 2 items at 13 minutes, that's like that would be the coolest thing for my assassin heart here. That is like the best feeling in the world, because it's going to be super relevant. You're going to be able to flex those new toys. You've got Dragon coming up in about 30 seconds. Hoya is able to crash this wave. So there is a possibility that if they want to, if they really want to focus on this Dragon, they could rotate the Scion down toward the bot lane, or at the very least have him in the vicinity ready to join up if need be.
Yeah, and you know what? Look at where his pathing is.
Yep.
It looked like he was heading toward the middle. Now it looks like he'll head toward that top lane, but it seemed like that may have been the initial idea. Said Hoya will head up there to catch
Axiom
that
arc.
wave. Oh, that's
my God.
huge.
Guwon has 2 items. 14 minutes.
Before 14 minutes even, Quax. Before 14 minutes. We're not even there yet.
I'm really glad that Guwon is also going Axiom's Arc, because I've been seeing some Kianas go for the new Umbral Glaive. And no. Just no. It's a cool item. It's great, but for Qiyana, who loves her ultimate, especially in competitive play, I feel like Umbral is not the move. So I'm glad that Guwon knows how to build correctly. Man, this is the guy that's going Protoplasm on Malphite. He gets all the points.
Cube going to be the first one to move down, as it looks like NIP not going to have any interest in that dragon. We'll go over to Team WE as their last quest has been completed. Now they're going to try to make a play on this bottom side. Zhuo already recalling, and everybody on NIP are out of the area, so it's just, all right, let's go ahead and take down this turret.
I mean, it's now going to be kind of a race here. Hoya should be
There's
able to
no
get the
race.
first turret. All right, yeah, there's no race. Never mind. Hoya's got it. So first turret going over to NIP now. I'm really interested to see what this Scion does, because although Hoya has not gotten any kills individually, he's not exactly been put behind. And we emphasize the importance of this frontliner getting ahead, and he's definitely in a place where he can be a huge nuisance toward the other WE members as they're walking in blind. This is a very dangerous avenue to take right now.
Very aggressive retake as well. It's like Team WE might want to go on the mid wave, but the rest of NIP have realized, hey, nobody can go after Guwon, so we don't have to give up mid control here. Guwon can just do it himself.
Yeah, I mean, Guwon gets the Herald. Now they're going to be able to use this in the future to knock down this mid lane or bot lane tier 1. WE, they want to start a fight so bad, but they have no idea where Guwon is, and without information on the Kiana, it's super difficult. They finally get a lick of info.
There's that Scion ultimate. It's going to split up Karis from the rest of the team. He's going to have to get away very quickly. Good sidestep, but the rest of the team has shown up. Scout of the week knocks 2 away. He says, Cube, help me, brother. So here we go. Guwon and Kara after trying to get out. Sabrina's play talent lands, but Monki is there, but he gets hit by the Emperor's Divine, and Zhuo closes out the kill. Now about over the wall, looking for more flashes forward. Really wants to take him out. Yaoyao trying to get close as well, as Kara stuck between a rock and a hard place. Flashes over the wall, and NIP lose no one.
NIP, though, escape with blinking health bars. WE trying to avenge their fallen jungler. And I gotta give a lot of credit over to Zhuo there, managing to keep Guwon alive with the wild growth that denies that gold from Monki. As this Xin Zhao is just gonna continue to struggle, I feel, in this game. Xin, a champion who needs to be getting ahead as early as possible, and so far it feels like Monki hasn't had that proactivity that he is known for. Guwon has definitely beat him to the punch in this game, and will continue to do so, with Xin not being able to pick up that kill.
A huge root there, by the way.
Yeah.
Because Yaoyao had just used his ultimate. He's not there to help out Monki. Doesn't have any cooldowns left, essentially. He has to wait so long to try to help about, and he can't even get close to these guys.
Yeah, it's really difficult for WE at this point. I mean, About did have a good couple of minutes in the game, but I feel like now that gold lead that he had generated, we said it was a big deal at around like the 6 to 7 minute, 6 to 7 minute mark, but now we're at the 17-minute mark. It's 10 minutes later, and it's the exact same thing. So Assum is getting a lot more relevant in this game, and About is losing relevancy in this game, especially with Guwon being so far ahead. It's just very easy for the Kiana to one-shot this Yunara by looking at it.
I'm with you on that one, Quax. Now, one thing to note is there are a lot of flashes down. Knockup is there, as we might see a fight. Yaoyao is just dead. Monkey's in trouble too. He's gonna heal up as best he can, just trying to keep everybody out, but the kill ends up going over to Assum from downtown. Hoya is able to tank up that turret. It is another successful play for NIP.
And you know the quote by Expeke, he's too tanky. There's a word I can't say on broadcast, but Hoya is legitimately so unkillable in this game. This front line for NIP just doesn't have, you cannot get around it here as WE. It's so difficult. And it's also just the fact that About hasn't really gotten a lot of resources in the past few minutes. We talked about the Yunara being maybe the only way to take down the Scion. It's not going to happen anytime soon. He has that last Whisper in inventory, but I legitimately don't think it is enough at this point, as we do go for a replay. And it's just Guwon pulling the trigger yet again. This guy really having a keen eye for engages, timing it with that Herald, and About also mispositioning by getting hit with the knockback. Does put him in a precarious spot where he immediately has to transcend and kind of be on the defensiveness.
Yeah, and Yaoyao completely denied once again in that fight. It was Hoya's knockup, and then Guwon just chunking him so hard that again, he's just not able to get in as this Rakan. And now one of your shining lights about having a lead is starting to flicker out while he's still doing fine for himself. It's Assum that has controlled the gold lead. Karis has really been unable to set up some of these pick plays. It feels like all of these are skirmishes where there's too many members for WE to handle.
You can see that WE kind of understand the situation that they're in right now. They were looking for a dive onto Hoya, but very quickly realized that it just was not going to work. We still see pings, and we still see presence from WE around that top side, so maybe they'll go for round 2. I highly doubt it, but most importantly, NIP being able to claim that dragon does mean no soul point for WE, and that win condition going to be stifled for at least another 5 minutes, which is really bad for them because it felt like now we're kind of looking at NIP. Guwon is starting to get very, very fed, or continuing to get very, very fed, I should say, as this Kiana. The gold lead is continuing to grow, and some of these late game carries like Care and Assum are starting to get very close to hitting those crucial 3-item spikes.
Feels like if you wait for the next fight, Quax, that NIP might just be, their scaling carries might just be online. I mean, this is one of the few times that I take a look at the graph at the bottom and be like, I'm in full agreement. 58.4% to 41.6. Couldn't agree more. Problem is with Team WE is this is a team that's just so aggressive that, like, NIP doesn't have a way to push the game forward right now, but they don't mind. Team WE shouldn't mind either with their scaling, but feels that they need to push the game.
Yeah. And I do want to call your attention to this matter, Yanni. We have now passed 20 minutes, and NIP, look at who has the gold lead, my friend.
Once again, well, Team WE hurt their stats a little bit after losing Game 2, but maybe they'll get a Game 3 miracle on their hands. Guwon literally breathes down Monki's neck. It says, I'm here, you know I'm here. But you can't do anything about it, Monki. I'm too fed.
Yep. Now we've kind of entered a bit of a lull state here. I mean, Baron is up. I think that the thing now is NIP look for a pick. Maybe they'll find one onto About here, as this Yunar does have flash, so can react.
Oh, that's a big problem.
Yeah,
can't react
nope.
if you can't see it. You're dead. About as Guwon picks up number 5.
Oh, Guwon gets the one shot off. About can't even react, and now he's just gonna maybe look for something on the bot lane. You can see Cube is pushed up there, and instead of going for the Baron, instead of going for a kill, he's going for the Krugs. You know, it's the simple things in life.
You know, any extra little bit you can pick up, you'll take. And Team WE aren't going to have a response to this because Cube is going to find out real quick. Oh no, Guwon is here. He's right behind me, isn't he? It looks like NIP won't elect to fight any further. They knew that they would take a lot of resources to take out Cube.
It would take a lot of time. Guwon doesn't have the Cyrilda's Grudge yet, doesn't have any armor shred under his belt, and I mean, I feel like that's something he really needs to start building into. Because he's so fed, I think it's more forgivable that he goes for the Edge of Night third, which is what I believe he's going to be trying to do. Is Assum will be able to escape there, but I mean, now you need to get this armor shred. You need to be able to, you know, tear up Monki. You need to be able to tear up Cube. I think Cube would have been a dead man had he had Cyrilda's, but just unfortunately is looking for a little bit more utility by equipping that spell shield as his 3rd item.
Heading to the 23-minute mark here. And NIP continuing to increase their lead. It's up near 5K right now. Next Dragon in a minute and 30 seconds. And as long as NIP don't get too hasty and don't start this objective at an inopportune time, this Baron, they should be okay. I think they've learned from the mistakes of a lot of teams that have come before them so far. As we've seen many, many Baron throws so far in the league. And finally seems like teams are starting to smarten up a little bit, Quax.
Yeah, NIP, I mean, we talked about it, looking for a pick onto About. They found a pick onto About, and they didn't go for the Baron, so just feels like they are erring on the side of caution right now, looking to take this game a little bit slower. And honestly, I can't fault them, because although Guwon is ahead, Care still kind of looking to get level 16, looking to get that 3rd item, and Assum as well. Did just complete that 3rd item, Infinity Edge, in the inventory of Sivir, so now really is the prime time for all of the NIP members, not just the Kiana, to really come online. And it's right ahead of the Dragon. We've got 30 seconds until that, and WE are posturing to fight this, but they are really far behind in the item spikes department, Yanni. This feels like a death wish.
When Karis not around, you don't have a ton of burst right now. You at least got Guwon's Edge of Might off. That means that Guwon's going to have to be very safe for the time being. They're going to go and dump some resources into Hoya. Not really do that much damage as the solo laners continue to split push.
And Hoya's shield barely got broken there as Dragon is coming up, and you can see that About is looking to just try and target it, stall them out, but Care has teleported. All right, NIP looking for the fight.
Team WE getting this Dragon down to about 3,000, but they're so split. NIP looking much more together. Monki goes in, but it's only him, Cube, and About on the other side. Care walls off the other members. About will fall. Monki will fall. It's a double kill for Assum. And NIP locked all windows and doors in that fight.
And WE crucially get themselves soul point. If they can get the next Dragon, that'll be the Cloud Soul acquired. And with no jungler, doesn't matter. They're actually going to go for the Baron. They don't have Guwon here, but they want to try and punish. Or do they? Okay, they're not going to end up going for the Baron. I was really confused. It felt like a split call from NIP. Yeah, they don't go for the Nasher. They let WE get soul point, and the only thing they get in response is a couple of kills. And honestly, I feel like that's much more worth it for WE, who have been struggling to get any modicum of valuable stuff here in the last 5 minutes.
Did you see that? Yaoyao over on the side with Care, not with the rest of the team, is like, all right, I can find an angle to help my guys. With Care, the Emperor's Divide, so much more impactful than initially thought in that fight. As we are just looking to pump our damage numbers onto Hoya, I guess, because it's not really much of anything that's actually happening. As NIP are now looking to corral Team WE on this top side.
It's kind of a long con, but Cube has a flank here. I mean, if Team WE can look for a fight started, he is sitting on the wards, but still, I feel like NIP are just really afraid to pull the trigger here. They're quite far ahead in this game, but they're sacking side lanes at the current moment. I mean, Cube is able to push in as this Rek'Sai with essentially impunity because there isn't really anyone on the NIP side that can deal with him. And this is
Here's Yaoyao, but the wild growth. Yaoyao can only get onto one member, and it's Care, but he's just fine. Emperor's Divide about gets to the backline, but can't kill Assum. The knockups onto Karis, and Hoya will drop his ultimate. They find Yaoyao. Next knock up onto Cube, and it's just dominoes because they're knocking down member after member after member of Team WE. A triple kill for Assum and a Baron for NIP.
NIP going to claim their reward here. Dragon Soul point be damned. They find the fight win. Assum living with just a little bit of HP, but it is enough to make the difference. Every member of the Ninjas in Pyjamas will be dressed in purple. As we do see the replay here, Yaoyao continues to try and look for these engages, but Team WE, or Team NIP rather, have been really good at stalling those out. We talked about the importance of Rakan needing to start up these fights. He's really trying, but NIP are just peeling him off every single time, forcing WE to go deeper and deeper, where NIP can continue to wrap around them and choke the life out of them in every single fight. Now, it's getting really difficult to imagine a world where WE can come back from this game. NIP might just be the first team to hand them their first series loss here in the LPL.
Certainly looking like it, Quax. We're in the miracle stage for Team WE at this point. We talked about how they scale pretty well, but NIP just scales harder, and everybody has a gold lead for NIP. Even Hoya's up about 100 gold. Good for you, man. It's been a game where you've sacked a lot of CS. You were talking about it. Cube is up 60 CS at this point, but it's not like it matters. It's Rek'Sai and Sion. One of these guys is going to be more relevant. One of these guys has been more relevant. It's been Hoya.
Yeah, Hoya has just been so unkillable in this game, and we talked about it all the way from draft. Who on Team WE can deal with this front line? And it feels like it is one of the big central issues that WE have no answer for at this current moment. One thing that they also don't seem to have an answer for are the relentless waves of Baron minions now pushing into their base, slowly whittling down these turrets. I'm curious if NIP are just going to pull the trigger at any point. Hoya is so damn tanky. I would not put it past him. The ability to just ult in there and cause some chaos. Take some WWE members.
Ghosted.
I feel like that's an option.
Yaoyao used his ghost just in case he was able to see an angle, but it's not the case. He's going to swap over to exhaust. That's going to be important in this fight. Team WE are running out of time. That bottom inhibitor taken out. Looks like they are going to transition over to the mid lane. Monki getting chunked out so hard. It's just Karis poke. It's Assum's bouncing boomerangs. You know, you hit the minions, you just get to chip everybody else. That's a Sivir ultimate down, so that is a important tool for NIP that they won't be able to have. But Hoya also just gets the front line like this, so don't think it matters all that much.
NIP slowly closing their grip around this game, but not going to fully choke the life out of WE. They get a double inhibitor, and now they're going towards the dragon, so just further denying that soul, which I already felt like has been a foregone conclusion for the last 5 minutes, Yanni say. It's just more demoralization on the side of Team WE, knowing that this dragon will slip their grasp, and more and more we get into this game, it feels like the game is going to also slip their grasp, as now they are kind of relegated to clearing out these waves. But I am curious what NIP are going to do in regards to trying to close this one out. I mean, Baron isn't around for another 3 minutes, so are they just going to wait for that objective before going for a game-ending push, or are they going to be looking to use what they have in the super minions on mid and bot to just kind of end this game from there?
I hope they take destiny into their own hands, Quax. I really do, because
Me too.
I always worry, especially because, again, we've talked about it, Team WE, they can scrap this late in the game, right? They are very far behind, and that's why it looks like they can't. But if these champions manage to get a breath of life into them, if this team manages to get a breath of life into them, you know, there is a world where this game could be turned around on NIP. It is, I don't think a world that we live in, but it is possible. And I think that if you go and you wait to go take the Baron and Team WE meets you there, anything could happen at that point.
And honestly, I just want to see WE send it, or NIP send it. Like, this has been a team who I think is very different from WE, who maybe maybe throw caution to the wind a little too much. NIP, it feels like in this series, especially these latter 2 games, have felt a little too overcautious. And while that has been a method that has led to their success, them winning game number 2 and them being on track to win game number 3, it's not fun, man. I just want to see them go crazy.
Hey, listen, sometimes you just want to see teams hit the go button, but sometimes they're unwilling to, Quax, and as we tick seconds closer and closer to this Baron, it looks more and more like we'll see, once again, a team wait for the second Baron to actually end the game.
Yeah, KR just putting on a little bit of pressure toward the bot lane, forcing Cube to respond, and now, I mean, the Rek'Sai Tremor Sense is going to be really instrumental for trying to find some of these picks. So if you're constantly relegating Cube to being on the side lane and the rest of Team WE don't have access to viewing that Tremor Sense, it makes these picks, these flank angles, and these creative little crevices for NIP to engage fights on that much more possible.
35 seconds until this Baron is up. We're seeing Yaoyao use that Summoner Spellbook teleport just to get on the map a little bit faster. That flash is going to be up again. We talked about him being a big guy this game to try to push WE in the early game and make plays, and he has just been denied it every single turn. I think that even if he's able to find a big one this time, it might not matter. We're going to see a fight break out. Here we go. He finds a couple of members, knock up on the side as well. A bounce over the wall. We're free hitting, but it just doesn't matter. The wallet difference is just too strong. Zhuo will live on the backside on top of it. Team WE can hold a candle to NIP in this game. No Baron needed, 19 kills to 6. And NIP will continue their undefeated run. It's only been their second match while they hand Team WE their first loss of the Perseverance.
Yup, Team WE showing mortality in this series, going down as the Ninjas in Pyjamas, the full rebuild, new students to the dojo, end up kicking Team WE right in the face.
Love that for them, Quax, as you know, you and I were talking about it. Team WE can't keep getting away with it. And today they got burnt. They were down in gold in every single game at 20 minutes. Sure, you got the one. And it was game one, so we thought that maybe it was just going to be their thing the entire year. But eventually, when you play with fire, you will get burnt, as they say. And NIP, with this knockoff of Team WE, kind of sends shockwaves through group perseverance. I think that many thought that Team WE are going to be far away the #1 team. Maybe this team should have been in Group Ascend, is what we were thinking. Obviously, Group Ascend a little bit more condensed, so they were the odd man out. But NIP, this new look squad, saying, oh, no, not so fast. Group perseverance might run through us.
And I do think that it is kind of now apparent that there might be a little bit of a gap between the top half and the bottom half, forming at least of the teams in group
just a
perseverance.
bit.
We got to look at EDG and Thunder Talk, and we got to see what their current level of performance is at. And even though EDG won that series and looked a little bit more closer to their 2025 selves, I don't think I'm offering a hot take by saying that they still have a long way to go before reclaiming that ability to say, oh, we're super back. Meanwhile, NIP and Team WE, I feel like these guys played much more clean games of League of Legends going into tonight's series, Yanni. So I am interested to see how this this theory of mine that there is a pretty big gap between the top two teams and the bottom two teams ends up panning out as time goes on, because now with Team WE, you know, going for their third game, that's their first round robin done. They're going to be replaying all the other teams in group perseverance, and we're going to have to see how well they do the second time around, and if they are able to get that 3-0, or if NIP will have their number again.
Yeah, you know, a couple day break for that. That's going to be the first game on Sunday. And I think that if you're Team WE and you come out and you lose that series, it's very worrying. It's very worrying to lose to a team, have a couple day break, come back and lose to them again. I do expect these teams are close enough in skill level that this might be a 1-1 at the end of the day. But again, that's all for the future, and we'll have to see. Quax, I'm thinking about player of the series, and honestly, I want to give it to Assum. I think that Assum, even though, you know, didn't get player of the game in game 2, he played 3 really good games of League of Legends. Obviously had a couple missteps on the misfortune, but may have been like you could have actually given him an argument for player of the game in that game, because he was the only guy trying to hold it together. But 3 really good games, you know, a 2-1 win. I think it should go to him.
I'm in agreement with you. I think that, like, obviously if we looked at like the op.gg game record for game number 1, I think Assum would definitely get slapped with the ace tag, also known as the biggest Coper tag of all time for the people who say it's just my teammates, but still think that it is definitely okay.
I played 7 games this year. I can't talk.
But in all honesty, like, I agree with you. I think that Assum definitely deserves to be player of the series. I was really impressed with what he did, and I mean, this is a matchup that we were really skeptical about. Like, Assum obviously hasn't had as bright of a year so far, given there was only one series before this, as someone like About, who I think sent shockwaves of excitement through a lot of people who wanted to see a Gen G Academy player go into the LPL, and he's kind of hit the ground running so far. So to see Assum kind of go band for band and eclipse that performance that a lot of people have commented on for About, it is a really cool thing to see, and I'm curious what he is going to be doing as the year and the split keep going.
Yeah, there was excitement about him in 2025. Obviously, it was a bit of a turbulent year, a lot of instability, and, you know, he kind of became old news going into 2026. And we're talking about, you know, as you said, the Team WE AD carry and About, who, you know, did have a fine series himself. He was solid, but Assum, I think, in my opinion, really stole the show. It's a little unfortunate, because I think if you were to ask me who player of the game was, I'd give it to Guwon. But if you were to tell me player of the series, I'd give it to Assum.
Like, holistically, yeah.
And I think that I am curious to see if there's something that happens there. If there's something that the voters take note of.
Yeah, I think there's a massive difference between player of the game and player of the series. I think overall, Assum was definitely the most consistent member of NIP, but Guwon just really gapped Monki in this game, in my opinion. Like, I don't think there's really any other way to put it, and especially for a series where I think Monki has been absolutely unhinged. Like, he has been looking for level 3 invades basically every game. He has been looking to do something crazy before the 4-minute mark in every single match, and this was really the only game where Guwon was able to take that and actually turn it into a positive definitively for his team. And I felt like they carried that momentum all throughout the game and never really dropped the ball on that.